Hello everyone, welcome to Technologies Discussion channel. Today, I'd like to continue the discussion on parameters. For this video, I'm going to focus on S parameters, mainly for two-port network. S parameters is also known as scattering parameters or sometimes S metric. This will be the part 1 series discussion on the parameters. Under the description, you actually see a playlist. Under the playlist, we are going to discuss all the various parameters that are going to use to describe a two-port network. From this, you will be able to know which parameters will be best suited to describe the two-port network. This is my email. If you have any question regards on today's discussion, please drop me an email. Before I continue, I'd like to urge you guys to support this channel by pressing the like and also the subscribe button. Please also turn on your notification bell in order to receive more information from this channel. Guys, feel free to give me some comment so that I know what content you guys are all keen. So again, sincere thanks for your strong support. Let's start by understanding some of the history of S parameters. The first published description of S parameters was in a thesis of Vitold Belevitch in 1945, sometime after the World War II. S parameters is also called S metric or scattering parameters and is used to describe the relationship of input and output port of an electrical system. Besides S parameters, we also frequently use the Z, which is the impedance, Y admittance, which I have described to you guys, and we also have H, T, and also A, B, C, D parameters. Basically, all these parameters, they can be used to analyze the electrical system. However, one of the attractiveness of S parameters is they don't really use open or short circuit to describe an electrical network. Instead, a match load will be used. For example, a match load like 50 ohm. Basically, they are used to describe, to replace also the open or short circuit. At high frequency, we can't have a perfect short circuit, which is 0 ohm. Okay, we can't have perfect 0 ohm at high frequency. It's going to be very challenging. And we also cannot have an open circuit, which means that we are going to have infinite ohms. Again, this is basically all the ideal world. In a practical, definitely we are not able to have a perfect short circuit or perfect open circuit. Hence, therefore, at high frequency, we will prefer to use S parameters over all these parameters to describe a network. From the S parameters matrix, we can obtain the characteristics of linear network such as gain or maybe sometime loss, depend whether is it an amplifier which offers some gain, or if it's an antenator, it actually has some form of loss. We are also able to obtain impedance from the S parameters. Phase group delay, so we will be able to know how much delay after going through this network, basically from these S21 parameters. We also able to determine the voltage standing wave ratio, VSWR. In the 1960s, Howard package, HP, actually introduced the first microwave network analyzer. HP still make network analyzer, but HP has changed the name from Agilent, and currently at this moment is also called as Keysight. So basically this company, which is formerly under HP, Keysight, they still make very nice network analyzer. The vector network analyzer measure the amplitude and phase of voltage traveling wave phasor. We are going to take a closer look on this. As parameter change with frequency, so frequency must be specific for any S parameter measurement. When we actually do any S parameters, we need to indicate the frequency, because different frequency, we are going to have different sets of S parameters. Hence, it's very essential to indicate the frequency. At the test frequency, each element or S parameters is represented by a uniqueness complex number. Okay, so over here you can see that all these are actually complex number and they don't have any SI unit, which means that they are actually uniqueness. They are actually represent the magnitude. Okay, so for example, this is the magnitude, and I will also have the angle, which is mentioned here, magnitude and angle, or amplitude and phase. The complex number may either be expressed in rectangular form. Okay, so I actually convert this polar form to rectangular form. Okay, so this form is actually called a polar form, which is indicated over here. And over this form is actually called a rectangular form. But in general, polar form is actually more frequent use for S parameters. So typically, we are going to use this S parameters to describe, typically in polar form. Okay, don't worry about this B1, B2 or A1, A2. Okay, I'm going to describe this B1, B2, A1, A2 under the so-called part 2 series discussion on S parameters. I just want to keep this video simple so that you can understand S parameters in an interesting way. Okay, so let's understand the different form of S parameters. Okay, the name of S parameters is actually mentioned here. So S11 is actually called the input reflection coefficient. S12 is actually called the reverse transmission coefficient. S21 is actually the forward transmission coefficient. And last but not least, S22, which is the output reflection coefficient. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier on, this video, I'm going to make it simple, no technical description. I am going to describe why they have all these names in a simple form so that you will be able to remember them forever. Okay, so this diagram here shows a two-port network. So basically, typically on the left will be the input and on the right will be the output. Let's start off by discussing on S11, S11. Okay, so this is S11. Okay, the key thing is basically at the behind one, S11 here. Basically, this is the place where I put my source. Okay, which means that my supply is actually put at this port number 1. And basically for S11, the measurement is also done at port number 1. So what do I mean? Okay, I have redrawn this diagram two-port network so that you will be able to understand what is actually S11 doing. So as I told you that I'm actually putting my source at port 1. So over here in green, you actually can see that this is basically my source, which is put at port 1. Okay, so this is port 1, this is port 2. Okay, so which means that I'm actually insert my source actually at the input. Where will be my measurement? My measurement will be also at port 1, so which is over here. So from here, let's take a look on this diagram here. You can see that I actually insert my source over here. What I actually want to measure is basically what are the waveform that actually reflected back. Can you see here? I supply here, I measure here. So effectively, I'm going to measure what will be the reflection. So over here, therefore, S11 is called the input reflection coefficient. As over here will be the input, and basically what we are going to keen to know about S11 is I supply my voltage here, and I'm going to see how much energy is reflected back, and therefore the name like it implies, which is called the input reflection coefficient. Okay, so this is what I meant by S11. Source, okay, basically insert at port 1. Okay, measurement is also done at port 1. Okay, so let's do another one so that you will be more clear. Okay, let's do this S21 over here. Okay, again, this is a two-port network. Okay, again, over here, this is S21. So for this case here, I put my source at port number 1, okay, which is at the input. And I do my measurement at port number 2, okay, which is my output. Okay, so what happened here is basically over here, you can see over here, for example, I actually supply at the input, okay, what I measure at the output. So what happened over here, you can see that basically I supply my source over here, and what I'm going to measure will be the forward transmission coefficient. Over here, what I'm going to measure is I supply, let's say I supply 5 volt. I measure how much is actually able to transfer from the input to the output. For example, over here, earlier on I mentioned this is 5 volt. For example, I have about 4 volt over here. So I actually effectively measure how much is the forward transmission, how much power is able to transmit from the input to the output. So therefore, S21 is called the forward transmission coefficient, which means that this number will tell me roughly how much power will be able to transfer from the input to the output. So this is S21. Okay, same as for S12. Okay, again, let's quickly revisit this. So basically, my source this time round will be at port 2, and my measurement will be at port number 1. Okay, so from this diagram, this will be my source because it's at port 2. Okay, remember, output will be so-called denote as port number 2. So I supply my source over here. So what I want to do is basically my measurement at port 1. So from here, you can actually see that, again, they are actually the reverse process of S21. But over here, I mainly put my source at the output and I actually done my measurement at the input. So from here, you can see that it is slightly different from S21. So therefore, this S12, which is called the reverse transmission coefficient with respect to input, for example, I'm going to see what are the reverse transmission coefficient. If let's say I take reference to the input. Okay, so this is actually what is called the S12, and how S12 actually obtain the name, as I imply. Basically, the source now apply at the output and the measurement done at the input. I basically see what is the reverse transmission coefficient, which means that it's the opposite direction of forward transmission coefficient. Last but not least, let's quickly visit S22. Okay, so S22 in fact is exactly the same as S11, but except at the output. Okay, again, let's quickly discuss about this S22. Okay, over here you can see that this is basically where I put my source. This is where I put my measurement. So my source and my measurement all at port number 2, which is at the output. Okay, so over here you can see that this is basically my source. I actually done a measurement at the output port. So what I'm actually measure. Okay, over here, if you look at this diagram here, you can see that I supply my source here, and what I actually measure will be the output reflection coefficient, because here is called input, this is called the output. So what I'm actually keen to measure will be called the output reflection coefficient, which is mentioned here. So now you have a better idea how all these S11, S12, S21, and S22 got their name. So instead of memorize, actually this way, okay, you can actually fully understand what are the parameters that you are going to deal with. For example, over here, S11 and S22 mainly is going to measure how much energy will be reflected back. So in simple word, I supply my energy. I want to see how much energy is reflected back from my supply energy. As for S12 and S21, it's actually quite similar. Okay, for example, I actually supply my source over here. I'm going to see how much power will be able to reach at the output. Clear? So basically, on the other side also, I actually supply my voltage over here, and I'm actually going to see how much power is going to actually able to achieve at the port number 1. Okay, so this form here, when I actually move this way from the input to output, this is called the forward transmission coefficient. As when I actually do a reverse way, which means that I actually do from the output to the input, so this is called the reverse transmission coefficient. So with this, I think you definitely have a better idea where does all this name actually come from. So hopefully now you have more so-called interest to understand more on S parameters. In fact, it's not so difficult. With this, I'd like to end my discussion. Please help to like and subscribe. Once again, sincere thanks for strong support. See you guys.